Okay, looks like we're ready to get started here. Happy Sunday, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of the Xbox Roundtable Podcast. And I'm getting some feedback here. I thought that was muted. Sorry, that was on my end. But yeah, guys, welcome to the Xbox Roundtable Podcast, and this is show number 235. Welcome, 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 everyone. It is great to have you all here, as we've got a bunch of different things to cover. There was a bunch of news that came out during the week, and also some games. But before we begin, naturally, I'm Invader, and yeah, we got a great show lined up for you tonight, as Dusk Falls recently dropped, and we'll give you our first impressions and takes on the game. Also, big news regarding Discord features that have made their way over to the Xbox ecosystem. We'll go over all that. Plus, some rather interesting news popping up about Platinum Games getting in touch with Xbox. Again, we will touch on that and more. However, why don't I introduce everybody on the panel before getting over to the topics? Just so everybody knows, TimDog probably won't be able to make it tonight. He's on the road, and don't worry, Tim will be with us soon. He's just working his butt off right now, but he will be with us. But first off, let's start off with Crusader. Buddy, great to see you tonight. How have you been?
I've been good. I was over on Crossfire on Friday. That was a good show. I held everyone hostage for an extra hour. I do apologize for anyone who watched that. Um, I've been playing a lot of games. Played Guardians of the Galaxy this week, was probably the biggest one I played. And that is now my fifth favorite game I have ever played. I absolutely love that Guardians of the Galaxy game. It is fantastic. Everyone on any platform should go out and play it. It's on Game Pass, it's on PS Plus Extra, and I'm pretty sure it's like discounted by $30 every time it goes on sale. Go out and play it. Otherwise, I've been playing things like what's that the Christian God of War? Dante's Inferno. I played Dante's Inferno. That was pretty good. Beat Stray today, and I'm starting Final Fantasy VII Intergrade because I got that on PS Plus Extra. So it's been a good week for gaming, for me at least.
All right, yeah, I keep hearing great, like even amazing things about that Guardians of the Galaxy game. In fact, I do have it downloaded. I've had it downloaded for a couple of months now. Again, no excuses. I backlog, right, and I keep buying games to no end. I have a little bit of addiction at the moment that I need to calm down, but I think Centurion had talked up very highly about that game, if I'm not mistaken. So, but a lot of people seem to love it. Speaking of Centurion, buddy, hey, how you been?
Doing pretty good. It's Sunday night, time to talk games. Let me see, we were talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, that was actually a very amazing game. I was pretty happy with that title, especially after coming off of Square Enix's two blunders with Outriders and obviously the Avengers game. I was very trepidatious of this game, and everybody started giving it high praise. I decided to check it out, and I was definitely very impressed. But for me this week, gaming, I've just been kind of kicking back, relaxing, dabbling a little bit of ESO here and there. But mainly what I've been gaming on was Sherlock Holmes Crime and Punishment, just checking out some different takes on gaming.
All right, that's cool. Hey, you know what?
I know it sounds so exciting, doesn't it?
Hey, it's all right, man. Like, honestly, I didn't really get to a whole lot of gaming except for today. I kind of haven't had a busy week. I saw a friend yesterday I hadn't seen in, well, a while, and played some Stray for like an hour and a half. So, which, by the way, that kitty cat game's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, it's pretty cool. But yeah, actually, as far as gaming goes this week, I haven't gone to a whole lot. Just been kind of kicking back, and I've been getting into my Warhammer hobby again, and I just bought a crap ton of paints and glue and whatnot. So I'll be putting together models probably sometime this next week, and I'm looking forward to that. Let's see, moving on down here, Eric Shockley, brother, how have you been?
Oh, pretty good. Yeah, I just I was about to download that Stray until I saw it was in the extra tier, so I just gotta bump that up. But yeah, otherwise just been getting back into finishing Sonic Origins, or finishing the Sonic 3 and Knuckles from that Origins bundle. Otherwise, not much other than that. Just been trying to knock that one out. I keep, as I think we all have this issue where we keep like moving from game to game.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that Game Pass effect where it's just like, ooh, something new got added to Game Pass. Let me check that out, even though I'm in the middle of finishing a game already.
Mm-hmm.
But trying to finish this one out since I was almost at the end, so then I can go back and finish Final Fantasy X, which I'm still in the middle of. That's the game's super long, so that's hard to knock out. But but yeah, that's what I've been playing this week.
All right, that's cool. I can respect that for sure. Again, depending on what we're doing with our lives, sometimes you can't get the most gaming in, but hey, you do what you can. Moving on down here, GeneralMLD, my friend. Always great to see you on the Sunday nights. And yeah, what have you been up to?
Oh, just finished as Dusk Falls. Gonna give my impressions on that one. Otherwise, just playing. Like you guys here, I'm bouncing between a few different games at the same time here. Like I got into on Game Pass Need for Speed Hot Pursuit because it's like a mix between Need for Speed and Burnout.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying that out. Then also I'm back on my Borderlands 2 fix. I should have that game beaten within the week. I'm obsessed with that series now. Gonna move on to 3 after that. But yeah, there's always something to play, and just one game at a time. Well, three in my case, but yeah.
All right, good stuff, of course. I mean, it's great that you got to go through a couple of games over the past week. That's amazing. Yeah, I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on As Dusk Falls. I played it a bit earlier today, but before getting into our first topic, all you listening in, if you could please just share out tonight's show. We would love to see as many people tuning in as possible tonight for our game talk, all the discussions and topics. So please go ahead and share this out. And also remember to hit that like button and sub to the channel, as, hey, you know what? As corny as it sounds, I know you hear it all over the place, but it does help with the metrics and, pushing us to get more eyeballs seen on the channel and our videos. So please, if you could help us out, that would be fantastic. But yeah, guys, I think with that said, why don't we kick things off here with some Xbox game talk? And this past week, we saw the release of As Dusk Falls. It's an interactive drama from Studio Interior Night that explores the tales of 2 families across 30 years. Wow, I mean, that's actually quite a bit. But yeah, it's new. It's on Game Pass. So you could also get it in the store. It's available in a couple of different spots. And yeah, it's from Xbox Game Studios. It's certainly an interesting narrative game. I know a few of the panel members got an opportunity to play it this week. I know Tim did, but unfortunately he's not here tonight. However, GeneralMLD, bud, why don't we start off with you here? What did you think of your time with As Dusk Falls?
Oh yeah, overall, I really did enjoy it. Like, I went into this game with an open mind. It's certainly like a very niche genre, about as niche as it gets, really. But yeah, obviously, you see the Metascore, it's like at a 77, I think, on Xbox. So it clearly is good at whatever it does. It just depends on how invested you are into the story. I would recommend playing this game for half an hour and see if the story is worth your time. To me, the story, writing, and characters are on point. It's on par with, in my opinion, like a really decent TV show. And the graphic style is nice. It looks like a motion graphic novel. So that actually grew on me the more I was playing the game. So yeah, as I was saying, like the writing's tight. You get invested in the characters. There's several characters to choose, not to choose from, but that are fleshed out, and you get to know everyone's backstory and the motivations on why they do what they do. But I think what I liked most about this game was the RPG-like essence of choice and consequence. Like, frequently, like you can't just it's not a movie. Like, despite what the haters will tell you, you have to be holding the controller because there's always a quick time event. like mash this, do that, whatever, but also there's choices to make. And there's a lot of outcomes, like literally several outcomes per chapter. So there's 6 chapters in the game. Each chapter is an hour long. So for those out there who are curious, this is a 6-hour game, and you get achievements just for making choices. So for my particular playthrough, I got like 550 gamer score, and you do have the ability to replay certain chapters and make different choices. And in theory, yeah, rack up a more gamer score that way if that's what you're into. But overall, though, the story it was a hit with me, and I was hooked from the start to the end. And there's twists, there's flashbacks, there's flash forwards. They give you context. Like it honestly was pretty interesting from right from the start to the end. So I do recommend it. Again, guys, it's niche, but if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you got nothing to lose. If you don't like it, just uninstall it. But again, give it a try. I think people will like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tried it a few hours ago, actually, and I managed to get some gameplay to show off on the show, which is great. And I really wasn't sure what to expect, because generally I don't connect as well. I'm not usually as interested in these types of games, because I guess I just feel like they don't offer a lot of interactivity for me. That's just not where my interests are, per se. And also just the art style itself. However, within the first 10 minutes, I would say, MLD, I mean, it starts to get very dramatic, you know? Because of all the situations that are just taking place. Like, you know, there's a lot of things going on right off the bat, and it just it really hooked me. Again, you got these 2 families with 2 different stories, and everything just kind of intertwines. And I don't know, I liked it. I'm not sure if, I mean, I think the art style is very nice. I think it's beautiful the way that it's done. However, I mean, if it was me, I think, like, as far as my preferences go, I think I would have preferred more I want to say, like, again, more traditional, not so much the stop animation, but just more like, you know, a more like flowing game, I guess I would say. However,
Fair to say.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess I would call this an experimental title, especially for Xbox Game Studios. But I gotta hand it to them. It's an interesting concept. And as I can see in the chat, a lot of people like it, and I can understand why. Like, what do you feel about the art style? Do you think that, like, is this something that you would normally go for? Do you think it's a hindrance, or do you really like it?
Well, as someone who enjoys the occasional graphic novel, because yeah, like I buy all the Halo extended universe, I buy the books and stuff, and there's a fair amount of Halo graphic novels out there too. So if you're familiar with graphic novels, I think it's easier for one to get into it, because it's easier to visualize one still picture to the next. Like your brain can make the connection easier. I feel the more the more you're into that kind of medium. But I mean, just before overall, if I could really sum up this game in terms of what my favorite aspect is, it's very personalized, because they account for all the choices you make, and they are like they just go from one extreme outcome to the next, and builds on it from there like a snowball effect. I feel like the story was more or less my story, because it reflected my choices. I wasn't just watching this thing along for the ride. Like, the choices they were mine, and the story reflected that. So I think it was more satisfying and personalized for me, and I enjoyed it better as a result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I screwed up a couple of times according to the story, because I remember earning 1 or 2 achievements where I said I failed certain aspects of it, but I still liked my choices regardless. So.
Oh yeah. My playthrough wasn't perfect either. I think there was a couple things that you learn later on that, oh no, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But I just wanted to like do a single playthrough, like no backtracking, and just see where my choices took me. I think that was fun for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's genuine things that I was not expecting. Like, for example, I have gameplay going on right now of the game, and I was not expecting to see, like, somebody else in that house, especially, like, a lady in a wheelchair who couldn't talk. So I was like,
Oh yeah.
oh, and that's, again, that's within, like, the first 10, 12 minutes of the game. And there's just certain moments that, uh, again, you're not expecting, and they turn out to be, well, have wider implications to things later on. Again, there's a like a little motel stop with the gameplay that I'm showing right now, and I wasn't sure how significant it was going to be, my choices, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a lot of outcomes where, like, okay, I'm going to play this safe, and I thought I was playing it safe, but it ended up being, it really ended up a lot different than how I thought it was going to be. So, no, there's a lot of dynamics to this, and again, it's getting me hooked. It's getting me hooked in that way. Um, yeah, so far, again, I'm enjoying As Dusk Falls. Um, Now, a lot of people weren't aware of this game, MLD. I mean, I don't think Xbox really promoted it that much. Do you think they could have done maybe a better job at that, or is this something that, it's a smaller title? It's not a budget title by any means, but it's like it's still a smaller title. Do you think they could have maybe advertised it a little more?
Yeah, I think so. It could have used more. I mean, I don't frequent individual gaming sites as much anymore, but I figure they should have maybe put some ad space on those ones. Like in general, like gaming social media kind of places in general. But I think they know that yeah, it's a smaller title, it's a niche title. I think that maybe could have been a factor in their marketing. You don't want to heavily push a more experimental title that won't really resonate with people. Like you'll have gamers. I'm sure there's core gamers out there. They'll take 5 seconds to look at this game's art style and be like, "Nope, I'm not touching it," based purely on how it looks, right? So I think they maybe know that, and I think they're banking on more word of mouth to get this game out there. So like I made a tweet about this game, like I just finishing it. I gave my impressions, and people talk about it. I feel like that's kind of what they're going for, more of like a grassroots word of mouth kind of thing going, because of how niche it is and how experimental it is. So that's my take. I think they have a more stand back and just let it play out kind of thing to it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Carlos in the chat, Carlos Alvarado with the 199 super chat. Oh, thank you very much, Carlos. He said, "Wife and I fought over the choices to our story." Yeah, I could see that. Carlos, just out of curiosity, were you just playing with your wife on the same console, like as she was like watching you play, or were you doing the co-op option? Just out of curiosity. Actually, I'd be curious to see how that worked out. I'm not doing the co-op on it, but I'd be curious to hear everybody else's experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I just want to say, like, at first I was a little bit like curious, like how is this game multiplayer based? But apparently you can use your phone or you can use another controller, and you guys essentially fight over what choices to make. Now, I did solo. My wife, she was watching me for a little bit, and she was actually pretty into the story too, though. But I think she kind of made a choice to kind of just let this be my playthrough. And I know there's some choices where I made them, and she gives me the kind of a look like you sure? I'm like I'm like, don't judge me. This is my choice. This is my game. But who knows? We could return to it. Play it together, or she can play, and I could just be her sightsee gamer. But yeah, no, I imagine it would be funny, like two people or more, like arguing, like kind of bickering over which choice to go, or what was. I think there's also vetoes in the game. You can veto someone's choice, but you only have like so
Oh.
many of those to do. And you can veto a veto, but you only have 3 vetoes overall. So I didn't do that, but I imagine if you get a group together, it could be more fun, especially if it's all in person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see your wife putting in input on all that. Oh, that's cool though. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, no, I mean it's a great debate, like to be able to like if other people are watching or you're playing with somebody else, just to see how everybody reacts to the choices that you're making. So, because it's like, like you said, MLD is like, do you really want to do that? Do you really want to do that? Like, there's literally points you could see in the gameplay where I'm like, I know I'm gonna sound a little more stern in the way that I'm approaching this, but it feels like it would be the right thing to do. Or do I want to be more, there's different ways to approach this game. And I gotta say, like, I was impressed by the level of detail and the character models. The art is beautiful. There's a nice soundtrack to it, and where it's most important, the story and the voice acting. The voice acting makes a big impact. I was just really impressed. I thought they found some really good voice actors for the characters. Granted, I'm still early on, but I was really impressed with how they did things. Now, let's see here. I'm curious what other guys on the panel think. Eric Shockley, buddy, I'm not sure if you got a chance to play this as Dusk Falls, but if not, like, do you have any thoughts on it? Have you seen any general reactions from everybody on social media about it?
I haven't. But I mean, I've heard from people that played it, seem to have enjoyed it. I've definitely was. I'm not a huge what do you call it? I probably always butcher the name. Telltale games. I was a big fan of like Wolf Among Us, so I'm happy that the sequel for that's coming. But other than that, maybe like a little bit of the Walking Dead. I didn't play too much of the kind of like point and click like stories. I don't know if the artwork. I mean, that doesn't seem completely off-putting. It just seems kind of weird. I don't know if I'm fully. Whereas like the Wolf Among Us had like vested interest with just kind of its lore and like, oh, okay, it's a different cool take on this, story. So I already had something like intrigued where I don't know what this is about, which, once I play it and get into the story, then, I might, enjoy it. But
yeah, that's the
maybe
thing.
I'll check it out in the future. But
yeah, because like I was saying earlier, Eric, I normally am not attracted to these titles, like, or even titles that are similar, like The Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, and so on. A lot of people are saying, the Telltale formula, but it's evolved. I think that's a really good comment there, Pyro. But at the same, yeah, I'm not usually into those, but it works for me. Like, again, I'm not saying that. I'm kind of going back and forth with how the animation works in the game, like the way that the stills play, the still animation. But I think the artwork is gorgeous. I think it's beautiful. There's a lot of detail to it, and it's to me it's experimental. So I think I kind of need to cut it some slack and be a little more open-minded. But that's me saying it to myself personally. So, just give it a chance. And again, I'm trying this on Game Pass, right? So the barrier to it is non-existent, really.
yeah.
Let's.
Yeah. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't check it out. So maybe I will. I'll give it a go. But yeah, luckily it's on Game Pass. So.
Yeah. No, yeah. Otherwise, I'll totally admit, I may have skipped it, and I'm kind of glad I didn't. So, and that's coming from me, who's not really into these types of games. So, it says a lot for it, in my opinion. Moving on down here, Mr. Centurion. I'll admit, I don't know if you got a chance to try this out. I know you were being a little more mellow this week, but do you have any thoughts on this title?
Tried it. I'm gonna be absolutely honest. Everybody has their cup of tea. This game, it's great to see it's getting a very positive reception. I'll probably end up checking it out just from everybody telling me or talking about the game and how great it is. But at this point, I haven't jumped on it just because I have other games that interest me, and I'm not. To me, it's just not my cup of tea, and I'm not trying to knock it. That's why I just haven't downloaded it yet. I've been listening to you guys talk about it, though. I've been seeing everybody else talk about it. I'm very interested in the game eventually, but like I said, I didn't really want to play it right now.
All right, right on. I think that's a very fair comment, Centurion. I mean, hey, I thought you'd be all on this. Apparently, it's set up in Arizona too, so you know, it's a little bit of a local game.
Right? Oh my gosh, it's so hot out here. You don't even want to be reminded you live in Arizona.
I think MLD would agree with me that it's pretty hot at our end too. It seems to be hot everywhere at the moment, but I like the heat actually. So I say bring it on. Let's see. Yeah, the winter time. I'm not much of a. You see, it's interesting. I like winter sports, but I don't like winter. So, oh well. I guess that sucks when you live in Ontario, right? It's a conundrum.
Well, you guys have a whole different meaning of cold up there.
Yeah, that's right. You
Oh,
think what 70 Fahrenheit's cold?
Oh yeah, like
I love snow and stuff like that, but I know like I have friends that have moved down here from Canada, and when they talk about an entire lake freezing over, that's a whole nother level of cold.
oh yeah, our country is one of extremes. We have very hot summers and very long and cold winters.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you see like the waves crash from like Lake Ontario onto everything, and they like everything freezes overnight, and then you got like these elongated like waves that are just like interconnecting with the lake, like from these like lampposts and stuff and chains attached to the lake. Really, really nice. I mean, I love seeing it, but like when you have to like drive in like winter storms or if there's ice storms and stuff, yeah, that's not cool. I'm not into that. So that's why I'm enjoying every bit of summer right now that I can. I'm taking in this weather like anything. It's great. I love it. Let's see here. Moving on down the list, Mr. Crusader. I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts too. I'm not sure if this game is your cup of tea necessarily, but I don't know. I've been seeing some good stuff, some decent reactions on social media. Do you have any thoughts on it?
So, it is not a game that I would instantly gravitate to play myself. I have a few friends who love this style of game, and typically with this style of game, I just kind of watch them play it while I'm sitting in Discord and they do the screen share functionality through Discord. Um, I I have this on my backlog because I've heard a lot of people who I wouldn't have expected to say that they really, really liked the story and it's worth playing. Like, I don't know if you guys know who Slow-Mo is. Slow-Mo Backslap.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah, he was praising the game on Twitter the other day, and I'm just like, okay, well, maybe I do need to move this farther forward. So I do have it on my backlog. It's right now. I'm just not in the mood for this kind of game. I need something with a bit more action right now in my life, and so this is on the back burner. I do think I'm gonna play this game entirely on the with the cloud touch controls. I want to try it because I've heard it's very, very good on the mobile cloud controls. Because it's not the emulated, from what I understand, it's not the emulated controller. It's like actual touch, like touch mechanics. Am I wrong in saying that?
To be honest,
'Cause
I'm not 100% sure, but I think Tim was using it.
I think it has native touch mechanics built in. And I would really like to try it playing it with that because it's a game that's kind of perfect for that. Like, and you know, maybe this is because I have insomnia. I don't know, like people on who follow me on Twitter probably know that because I tweet at like 4 in the morning EST time. So this is like a cool game that I could probably play, you know, a chapter at night when I can't fall asleep, on my mobile phone, you know, all wrapped up in the comforter. So, you know, I have a hard time with the art style, not because of like any individual like frame, but because of how like almost choppy it moves. Does that make sense?
Yes, I know what you're saying.
That really, I don't know, it messes with me and almost makes me feel a little like almost motion sick to a point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if motion sick's the right word, but I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think it would have been better had it been a little bit more like slow and fluid and more stylized like a comic book.
Right.
Like almost straight up like a comic book moving panel to panel. I think that would have been better. It's the same art, if you catch my drift. The art, any individual frame looks gorgeous, right? but like the way it transitions and moves, I don't, I'm not the biggest fan of.
I'm with you. Like, again, I was
Yeah.
saying this before, I totally understand, but at the same time, I have to give Xbox Game Studios credit and the studio. We would always get on them for not taking risks on games.
Yeah, no, this is great.
And,
this is, yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, this is something where I'm like, all right, I'm getting used to it. I do like it, but I do understand, what you're saying completely. Yeah. But, if this was with, if this was published by somebody else, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. I do appreciate them taking a risk on a title like this.
Yeah, because they do. This isn't the. I mean, this is the first game that's like this kind of art style. But they also did like Tell Me Why. That was what 2020, 2019.
Yeah. Well, it was 2020, I think.
It was 2020. I don't remember. I know that because that's more like Life is Strange, correct? And so like I like that they're doing these style games because they're good for Game Pass. This is a good niche genre that they are getting coverage for in Game Pass, and they tell good stories. They they're just very different from what your typical core gamer would choose. And that's good to have, especially because that same thing can be said true for like any kind of streaming service out there, right? Like you can't have all of the same style of content unless you're Disney. And that's just how, you know what I mean? Like everyone else has to thrive on variety, and I think that's double the case in gaming where, a like action movie versus like say a thriller or something, they're not quite as different. But like with games, a real-time strategy game versus a game like this versus an FPS versus like say something like Hearthstone, those are all incredibly different games that play incredibly differently and appease to a totally different style audience. So if they want to get as many gamers as they can, they have to do stuff like this versus stuff like Halo versus stuff like Age of Empires versus stuff like Flight Simulator, And so it is very nice to see them reaching out to a bunch of studios and doing a bunch of cool things. I think it's cool that we're getting Pentiment later this year, which is, it's going to be a style of game like Disco Elysium. So yeah, this kind of stuff is great.
Yeah. No, I'm still gonna continue playing it. Maybe not tonight. I might get to it tomorrow. But it's a title that, again, I'm kind of surprised with how much I'm enjoying it so far. It's not my genre usually, but I'm getting into it, and I think a lot of people are gonna appreciate this, and I can understand why they have a title like this, as you spoke of, Crusader. Just again, Game Pass is a big reason for it. A lot of people might pass this up, but again, it's a small download size. Well, relatively, anyways. I think it's like 20 gigabytes, around that.
50. It's actually 50.
Oh, 50?
Oh,
really?
is it?
I know. I'm surprised too.
That's probably so. I'll have to pay attention to it. I'll listen to it on my soundbar closely. They're probably using like lossless audio and stuff like that. So that, because like with a game like this, where do you focus your time on? You focus your time on the art style, and you focus your time on the audio itself. So they're probably using very high quality audio.
Yeah.
To come through with it. And if they're using something like a FLAC file, those file sizes can get huge for even just a few minutes of audio. So that would be my guess as to why it's so big. Does anyone know what the MSRP for this game is in freedom units?
Oh, like how much it costs?
Yeah, is it like $20?
Well, here in Canada, it's 30.
US 30, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was curious to see what it was priced.
Yeah, Canada, it's about $40. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, how do you guys feel about that? I mean, the price to me, it's not so bad. I know that a lot of people were saying, oh, it's expensive. Maybe it could be a tiny bit cheaper, but I think it's okay for its price point.
It looks like in freedom dollars, it's $30.
Well, I mean, I got no problem saying it. I would not buy the game like if it wasn't on Game Pass. but Game Pass is a thing, and people use Game Pass for a reason. It's pretty popular. So so I don't see the issue in me saying I wouldn't buy it, but I'll play it on Game Pass because it's hey, like we know how much it costs. You beat it 6 hours, done. You just paid for 2 months of your Game Pass Ultimate right there. Even more of his Game Pass like regular.
I'll be fully honest. I wouldn't have bought Guardians of the Galaxy.
Same here.
I'm
love
going to buy it now. Don't get me wrong. I want a copy of it forever now that I've played it on Game Pass.
Like,
which is another thing. But so yeah, here I'm checking it's $30 on the in $30.
Yeah, like the whole point is that Game Pass it takes you out of your comfort zone. Like you play games you wouldn't normally play because, again, if you don't like a game, just uninstall it. You didn't spend $60-$70 for it. You spent your monthly sub $15. So if you don't like it, done, boom, uninstall it. You don't have to worry about it anymore. So I think that really matters for experimental games like this.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like, there is a lot of quality to it. I mentioned it before, and that's why I really don't have a problem with the price point. As Crusader mentioned, the audio is very crisp, but it's very clear. It's high quality, and the voice actors are very good. The story is interesting, and there's different arcs to it, so there is a lot of replayability, and I just think it's fascinating overall. And yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't have picked it up if it wasn't for Game Pass itself. Not to be a promoter of Game Pass all the time, but it did allow me to check this title out, and damn, I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool, and I highly recommend it to people to give it a shot. I'm only about an hour and a half in, something like that, but I think it's worthwhile. I think it's worth your time to check out. Actually, guys, that wasn't the only thing that came out. Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels DLC came out as well. Did any guys check out that?
Not me. I hear good things though.
Yeah, I've heard very good things too, but I know Xbot on Mooch's show was raving about it because he freaking loves Forza, man. I technically own it, and at some point I will play it. I think I'm gonna wait for both DLCs to come out at the same time, and then kind of go in and binge what's essentially a second game of Forza Horizon 5. It looks good. I saw the intro and it looked incredible. Looks wacky as all get out.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't picked it up. But it looks pretty cool. I saw a lot of people raving about it, and it looks like a gigantic expansion to it. I don't know what it is about Playground Games, but they always seem to outdo themselves with these expansions. I love the personality that they bring to them, and I thought it was a really cool idea to go back to Hot Wheels, since it was a very memorable experience back with Forza Horizon 3. So no, I mean, I thought they did a really good job. Even the biome looks different. I think there's a couple of different biomes to it too, like snowy one and so on. It looks like a good time. Definitely, guys, let me know in the comments if you've been enjoying the Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels DLC, because it looks like a blast from the video I've been seeing. And like you said, Crusader, yeah, Xbot has been posting a lot of different clips from it. He's been having a really good time. Kudos to him. He's a good guy. However, one other game I did get a chance to check out, I had mentioned this earlier. I was over at a friend's place last night, hadn't seen him in ages, and he had just picked up Stray, and for the PlayStation. I think it's going to be coming out on Xbox in a few months. I wouldn't be surprised. I think there's been leaks about it. But anyways, I played on the PlayStation, and I got to admit, I was like 2 hours into it easily, and at first I wasn't sure what to think about it, but this little kitty cat game, you're just kind of walking around. But as soon as you get to a certain point and there's more open area and there's more interactivity and more puzzles, I don't know, it's actually a very interesting title. I gotta say, I've been liking it. Crusader, I mean, I know you were talking about it earlier. You played it. In fact, I think you beat it. You said, what was your thoughts on it?
I started it at noon today and finished it by 4 o'clock. I loved it. So I'm a cat person. There's just no hiding that. Maybe after the show, if you come to check out my Twitter, I'll go round up some pictures of Sheldon and Amy, our two cats, and post them. Uh, and I was playing it, and it uses the controller really well. And I will take an L here. When the PS5 was first coming out, I said that the DualSense controller was going to be a gimmick. And I'll take the L and say that I was flat out wrong. Developers are continuing to use it, and they use it really well. And like you go up to like a scratching post and you scratch the stuff with the cat, and it feels, it puts the tension in the triggers, and you're scratching along, and you hear the audio of the cat meowing out of the controller, and when you like lay down to sleep, it feels like a cat purring in your hand. I love this title. It was great. Maybe one day I'll go back and platinum it on PlayStation. I got it through the PlayStation Extra. I am subbed to the whole way through Premium because it wasn't that expensive for me to upgrade my stack because they capped how much they have some kind of scaling cap so that it's not too much to upgrade a stack. I have the whole way through 2024. So also just kind of like As Dusk Falls, that might have been a game that I might not have jumped on if it hadn't been put in front of me. I will probably end up when this leaves the service, I will probably end up buying it. Or if it comes to Xbox, I will buy it on Xbox. Because yeah, it's fun,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I do recommend checking it out. Like I wasn't expecting very much. Like ever since I first saw it when it first got announced, I was interested, but then I was just kind of going back and forth just with the type of genre it was. I wasn't too sure, but you know what? I kind of like the mystery to it. It's kind of like a thriller. It makes you very curious, and the voice acting is very good. So I do recommend checking it out whenever you got a free couple hours or something in the afternoon. So. Highly recommended. Highly recommended. Carlos Alvarado in the chat again with the 199 super chat. Too kind, my friend. Too kind. He says Forza is just on another level. Very impressive. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. And in fact, speak of the devil, look who popped into the chat, Mr. Xbox 448. What's going on, people? He says, buddy, great to see you. Yeah, you know what? We were talking a little bit about the Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels DLC. I've been seeing you post a lot of videos about it, brother, and you seem to be really, really excited about it. It looks amazing. Looks like a lot of fun. And knowing Playground Games, they put a lot of effort into their expansions, a lot of content there. So I hope you're enjoying yourself. Yeah, but again, with Stray, I enjoyed it. I may just have to purchase it. I'll admit, I'm kind of curious. There is an interesting story there. It kind of leaves a lot of things open for interpretation. And the only thing I'm curious about, though, Crusader, is cats. How the heck did they get that little backpack on it? Because cats are a pain in the ass when you put anything on them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I love how when the backpack gets put on it in the first place, it's crawling around on the ground like something's on its back. Because like if I put like a sticky note or something on my cat's back, the cat will do the same thing. You can look up videos of it. The way the cat reacts to things in the game is like a real cat in real life. It's so good.
Yeah, there is a lot of detail there. I will say that, but it's just if you were to act, if it was real life, oh no, you would spend like half an hour trying to get the cat to even cooperate with you. Cats are certainly not like dogs. Cats do their own thing, right? So, but yeah, guys, anything else? Like, have you guys like Shock? Have you guys tried Stray? Is it on your radar? Or like Centurion? I know you're a cat lover. If it came to Xbox, would you want to give it a go?
If you want me to be honest, I'm more than Dusk Falls. I've actually been contemplating firing up my PlayStation to go check this game out. Yeah, definitely. Whether or not it comes to Xbox, I still need to check it out. It has my interest, it has my wife's interest, but that's just because I'm a cat person.
Yeah, me too. I'm a cat lover. I mean, I'm an all animal lover. I love dogs, cats, you name it. Um, Even the little chipmunks. I was taking a walk through a park the other day, and damn, there were a lot of chipmunks running about. So cute little suckers, but they make a mess of gardens. No comment there. um, but yeah, guys, lots of talk about games there, from As Dusk Falls, a little bit of Stray, and Hot Wheels DLC. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to try out the Hot Wheels DLC, but I do love me some Forza Horizon, and from what Xbox is saying in the chat, he is having a good time, and others too. Others are enjoying it. Lots of commentary there. Guys, if you just stopped by, remember to smash that like button, and you know what? Share this out. Let everybody know that we are live, because we would love to have as many people here as possible, and we just, we love the interaction that the chat gets. We love you guys. It's great to have you here. Moving on over to some other news. And something rather interesting has made its way over to the Xbox ecosystem. Earlier this week, Xbox announced that Discord voice chat has made its way to Xbox consoles, helping to streamline audio experiences across the platform. And right now it's available for Xbox insiders, but should be available to everyone in the near future. Let's see. A lot of people seem to be excited for this, including many on the panel. Like, when it was announced, it was like there was a lot of raving. Now, Crusader Bud, I know you were you nearly spat out your cornflakes from this announcement. You were excited. I know Shockley too.
If people go back and look at my Twitter, I was literally begging them to put it on Xbox the night before.
Yeah, that's right.
I had no inside information, I'm big on the leaks and rumors subreddit. I want to make it clear. I had no idea this was coming. And that's why I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. But, please, we'll lead off with you on this one. What are your thoughts on this new integration between Xbox and Discord? Because, again, like you said, a lot of people, including people who, occasionally hear things. There was nobody was in the know, so it was surprising, right? So what are your thoughts?
From what I understand, a lot of the people who were in the know were they were how do I say this, under NDA because they were testing it. I'm pretty sure, because Jez had a video up when it went live, and I think he was testing it before it went live, if what he said in the video was to be understood. And so there wasn't a lot of talk on the streets about it, but it's exciting. I mean, some people are confused as to why Xbox got it before PlayStation, when PlayStation announced a partnership back in what was it, early this year, right? Or was that even last year?
Might have been last year, now that I think about it, because
it
remember
it was either last November or this January or something.
Well, remember, right? There was those rumors, and I remember we had talked about this on the show. I think it was last March or April, something around that timeline. You might remember it. There was talks about Xbox and Discord, Xbox were in talks to acquire them, but then things fell through. And then out of nowhere, a few weeks or
Sony invested 3%. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what people have to understand is Microsoft's had a partnership with Discord since 2018. It's taken 4 years to get this going. I mean, we've had a rich presence on the platform since late 2018, I believe. And the Discord thing is a really, really, really big deal. I am in Discord with my friends, my friends who we all went to college together. Some of us even went to high school together, or their friends and friends of friends. We're all in this communal Discord server that we have, and we're in it every day after work. Sometimes we're even on it during our lunch breaks and stuff like that, right? So the fact that I can connect, I don't have to have 2 sets of headphones on anymore. I don't have to be using my phone on speakerphone. And I can be talking and hearing the game volume at the same time, and I got to use Bluetooth to my phone anymore with with anything. It's great. It's a great feature. I think it's a little clunky for how how it's going to have to work, where essentially you use your cell phone as a remote to connect to things. I hope eventually they have like a way you can like save specific like servers, so that they're like a quick select of like, hey, I'm always joining this server, so just let me like connect to it straight from the Xbox. But like, this is so much better than not having it. Like, that would just be like a quality of life thing in comparison. And to anyone who's curious about it, I believe that PlayStation will have it within the next 8 months as well. This is a big thing that neither one of like, this is the kind of feature that gets better the more platforms that have it. And because it benefits the whole concept of crossplay, right? That it's so ingrained in gamers' minds now that like, if you're gonna boot up Call of Duty, you're gonna boot up Minecraft, or you're gonna boot up whatever game, that you're going to be able to play with whoever you want on any platform. Right? Like, I think that is now an expectation that gamers have for basically every company, except for maybe the smaller indie ones that might not be able to afford to do that kind of networking thing, because that is a big learning curve, because you have to learn the APIs of like multiple platforms at once and how they plug into each other and stuff like that. But you know, for any large game, you know, I think we all expected as gamers that it's going to have crossplay, so we can play with whoever we want. And for companies, you know, this, to me, I think we'll see an upward trend with crossplay games, where more copies in general are sold, because it's no longer the case of, oh, I'm on Xbox and my friend's on PlayStation and this cool multiplayer game came out, but we can't play it together because we're on separate platforms. Well, now you can, and now you can communicate together. So everyone wins the more places that have this. So I think it hits Xbox now, it hits PlayStation in a few months. And we are all going to be talking with everyone, and it's going to be a very, very, very good time. Yeah, you know, I just, it was a random, shocking thing, and I think there was a question in chat. Pyro's asking, do we know if the preview program is only for current gen, and also the backwards gen? It is all, I believe. You can get it on the Xbox One as well.
That's
currently.
correct.
I
Yeah.
I think I read that. You can, even in the Insider program, you can get it on the Xbox One. You just need to be currently in Alpha or Alpha Skip Ahead. I think both have it, correct, Shockley?
Yeah, because I'm in Alpha Skip Ahead.
You're in Alpha, yeah.
They give you this pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a lowly beta son of a bitch, so I am currently not able to get this awesome functionality that I very much want, and it makes me very, very sad. But it's one of those rare moments where one of my friends beat me in our Discord to Xbox News, and my roommate, he was my college roommate, now he's my roommate out of college, came down to my office in the basement and just was like, "Yo, Discord's coming to Xbox," and I was like, "What?" And then I went ballistic on Twitter, screaming and celebrating about it. But yeah, this is a very good thing. Very, very good thing. Be very happy, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, Eric, I mean, I know you were pretty excited about this too, and you were like testing it basically as soon as it got announced. How do you feel about the Discord integration with Xbox platforms?
Yeah, it's pretty dope so far. I know when it first got announced, I saw you guys post it in the chat. At first, when I was reading the newsletter, like how to set it up, I thought it was just like, okay, not quite understanding when I was like first trying to like link my account and find the setting. But once you find that, once you actually link it, because you don't have to do that once, it's pretty seamless. Because otherwise, I don't know which other way they could really do it at a more convenient basis, unless they did it two different ways, like basically letting you, I guess, initiate the chat from your Xbox. But if you think about how Discord works, it's already kind of a jumbled mess in the Discord app on your PC and your mobile app already. At least it's not very intuitive to use for me personally. So them trying Discord, trying to incorporate that on like the Xbox side with just a controller would be kind of, daunting for them, or it just probably wouldn't work that great because you can't just like, you don't have a touch screen. You can't, so you're just moving around with the controller. So it'd take you forever to kind of get to where you need to go. So like getting that to work the same, unless they had some like weird simplified dumbed down version of it to initiate the chat on the Xbox side, I could see that. But other than that, you can literally just go to open up Discord like you normally been doing. And I think you can initiate it from the PC on the Discord app there as well. But you just go to your normal chat like you normally would do, jump into the chat, and then as soon as that, you can see where you can mute yourself or what have you, it'll say transfer audio to Xbox. You just hit that button, transfers over to and it automatically pops up on your Xbox screen with a whole, kind of like with the party chat sidebar that normally would come up. It just pops that open for you. So you can just, see who's in the party pretty much normally like you would do on Xbox for a regular party chat. So it's pretty seamless. And then you can just use your app to just hit transfer audio, because it actually, when it transfers audio to your Xbox, it actually also transfers you to the Xbox app. So like on your phone, it's already dictating the control of the Xbox audio to your actual Xbox app in your hand. So you can just hit transfer audio back to Discord, and just within a second, it'll go right back to the Discord app, back to the way, in case you have to, quickly transfer the audio from your Xbox back to your phone. So in case you got to get up and go, you don't have to like exit the party chat and then re-enter the party chat. It's just a seamless transition. So I think that's why they set it up the way they did. So you can just easily if you have to leave or quickly, get up and go, you're not having to, hey, let me back out of the party chat on Xbox. Oh, and then here's, this guy re-entering the party chat, and just makes that a kind of a hassle. So I can see kind of why they did it that way. So hopefully they allow you to somehow do initiating a chat, but otherwise it's not that big of an inconvenience, and you definitely get a bigger upgrade quality in audio. When I first tried it out that day, and I was normally talking in the party chat with some of my friends that are on PC, it was like, oh, okay, this is notably clearer than regular Xbox party chat. So, and it's nice that if you have an Xbox headset, now you have that game audio, Discord audio all into your headset, and then you still have the Bluetooth line, freed up now. You don't have to be using your Bluetooth line to link to your phone, and so you kind of have that tied up. So now if you get a call or what have you, you're immediately, taking advantage of that dual audio that, you get with the Xbox headset. That's the main perk that I like about it, is that immediately if I have to get a call or something like that, I don't have to drop anything, take off my headset, and, to answer a call, I can just like be talking and, finishing up where I'm playing, get back to my party chat as soon as I'm done with my call. So, but yeah, definitely, it should be coming to, I would assume it would come to beta pretty quickly for Crusader to try out. But yeah, definitely, if you're not in those Insider, I would just keep doing those little surveys. I think I did it with the cloud, the Xbox or the XCloud when they first rolled that out, and I was like, oh shit, you have to be in the alpha ring, and I think I was below beta even. So I had some, and it only took me a few weeks just doing the surveys. So, but I have noticed there haven't been near as many surveys. Maybe that's just because I'm in the alpha skip ed ring lately, so it might take a while. But hopefully they have. I'm sure this will push it out pretty quickly. It seems like it's like there. I don't think this. I know it'll probably still be labeled as a beta for a bit, but it seems like it works perfectly. So I think they've worked out all the kinks that they really need to. So.
All right. Very interesting insight there, Eric. Yeah, I have the Xbox headset too. I mean, it already has pretty good quality. I'm really happy with it. Um, yeah, I think Crusader, you'll be happy with it too. Really nice headset, by the way. And like, honestly, for what you're paying, that headset's awesome. Like for the price point, really, really good headset. David Preen did an awesome job with that sucker. Let's see. Moving on down here. Centurion Pal, what do you think of this Xbox and Discord news? I mean, nobody was expecting this, but I mean, hey, it's a nice, I want to say added bonus, when we get these kinds of features. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this? What's your take?
Is it wrong to say that I wasn't surprised? I mean, we're always seeing the Xbox perks pop up for Discord on their. I actually do not know what the Discord Nitro thing is. I'm not going to pretend to know what it is, but you always see that perk always popping up in the ultimate rewards perk area. And now we've even heard rumors in the past that Microsoft has been interested in Discord, and now we're just seeing more integration for Discord into the Xbox system. I'm excited because I hear people like Crusader talking about it. We know that there's a lot of streamers that use Discord. There's a lot of podcasts that use Discord. The fact that Discord is going to start playing a bigger role in gaming in general, especially now being integrated on the Xbox, has me totally excited.
All right. Yeah, no, and I think you're correct. I mean, should we really be surprised? No, probably not. But I think a lot of people are just surprised that it came to Xbox first when there was an actual, I guess, announcement or more of an announcement for PlayStation ahead of time. And then, so it just
Not trying to be mean, but we all know damn well that PlayStation has basically treated multiplayer as a second-class citizen.
Well, let's be honest, they're not exactly fast. They're kind of slow moving when it comes to changes just to PSN in general, right? So
Right, and I'm not trying to be like, shall I say pessimistic, like or be like the Xbox guy, but let's just be frank. If we were to go back and look at the history of both companies from day one when these programs were started for both PlayStation Network and Xbox Live, we could clearly see a lot more time, effort, and just ingenuity put into Xbox Live compared to PlayStation. Like PlayStation went for a very long time without even the capability of being able to change your name. And then we all found out that was because PlayStation did not create the system properly. They made it to where whatever you put in that system was basically your social security number for being on that network, where Xbox made it to where you were assigned a customer ID number and your name was associated with that, but you were able to change your name because we're not messing with the customer ID number. It's just simple engineering tricks like that that completely show that Microsoft was ahead of the game and was not trying to just slap something out in the market just to be the first over the finish line.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when you were changing your name too, because it was just like, oh, finally I get to change it from McLovin to Centurion.
And like everybody always wonders why the joke goes to McLovin. At the time when the PlayStation Network was actually in its infancy, the movie Superbad was in theaters and everybody was loving it, and so everybody was making their PlayStation ID McLovin this, McLovin that. And then literally they are gone 10, 15 years and they're adults now and they're still stuck as McLovin.
Actually, I just made like a random name, but yeah, actually that lines up.
No, actually the McLovin thing lines right up with it. Actually, that's why the running joke is, it's like, hey, people grow up, they want to change their name. And, when you have all your games and DLC and all the other stuff that you've put your hard-earned money tied into McLovin, it's kind of hard to just want to walk away from that account.
Yeah, you hip-hop gangster leprechaun fellow, you Tisk tisk. Yeah, no, actually, Superbad's a good movie. I need to rewatch it again. Love that movie. Let's see. Moving on down the list here, GeneralMLD, buddy. I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this Xbox and Discord integration. I mean, it seemed to have caught everybody by surprise, but I mean, as Centurion was saying, like, I mean, really, should we be surprised considering Xbox is kind of like, you know, really heavily invested into integrating a lot of things into their ecosystem nowadays? Like, what are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, like I mean, it is surprising that there were no leaks for this, and they had this under pretty tight wraps. So I mean, hey, props to them for that. But yeah, Centurion, he said it pretty nice, but I think I'll go a step further and just say Xbox software engineers, they make PlayStation software engineers look like interns. That's how much of a wide gap it is. And especially looking at the beginnings of Xbox Live versus PSN. And yeah, I mean, they've had a Discord partnership for a long time. I mean, like they've been working together for some time. And it's funny, like earlier in the year, or was it last year? You guys said it before. When PlayStation had their announcement for this, everyone talked it up. You know, the fanboys, they're like pointing and laughing. Meanwhile, we just get it first all of a sudden, and now everyone's starting to walk it back, saying it's no big deal. It is definitely a big deal that Xbox gets it first, because I mean, I remember back in the day, headsets, like people use. I think people use headsets a lot more in the 360 days compared to now. I feel like now Discord's the future. Like that's where it's heading, I think. And the closer you integrate that with your console gaming, like I think that's just where the industry's heading. And good on Xbox for capitalizing on this, making it easier for their gamers to, you know, chat. Like say like when Warhammer Dark Tide comes out. We might be playing it together on Discord. I can see us doing that.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
if one of us is on PC and some of us are on Xbox, we can chat via Discord, no problem. And I can see us having a good time with that. So, hey, nothing but good news here. I'm glad Xbox was on top of this.
Yeah, which by the way, guys, we are so doing a party for that and just like going nuts with Dark Tide when it comes out in September. We are going nuts. So
Yeah.
And I know a bunch of guys here are excited for it. So I mean, obviously me being the 40K guy, but I know a bunch of you guys are excited for it, and I know a lot of people in the chat are excited for it too. I know I'm pumped. But yeah, no, I mean, it's cool. This Xbox Discord integration. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, it's just, you know, a chat. It sounds so simple, but I mean, it's crisp audio, and again, you can talk to people across, like, technically across different platforms, and it makes a big difference. It's a big deal. And the newer Xbox headsets really benefit from it. So yeah, no, it's cool, and I hope more people get to try it out, including myself. I wouldn't mind checking it out soon. So hopefully it does. They said it's gonna be pretty soon that it gets released to everybody. So yeah, hopefully soon means like within a week or so. Who knows? But yeah, guys, why don't we move on to our last topic for tonight? And it seems like Platinum Games they keep on popping up over the last few months for whatever reason. There's been different stories. And according to a source, you know, a bunch of people in the Xbox Twitter might know him, Extrasis. I think I'm saying his name correctly. You guys probably know who I'm talking about. He was a source behind some of the preview leaks that came to fruition for what was it? Death Stranding, if I'm not mistaken. So he has a bit of a track record with some things. And Platinum Games, apparently, according to him, has approached Xbox to publish and finance their next game. Though, and I have to preface this, it's not known yet if Xbox have agreed to fund it or not. Which, you know, I'll admit, this is all quite interesting given the recent history between them. Now, Centurion, my cyber sleuth friend, what are some of your thoughts on this one? Like, do you think Platinum would hit up Xbox for their next big game? Because, you know, again, we were talking about them not too long ago, and they were like, yes, Phil, Xbox, Microsoft, please work with us. What's your take?
Centurion, if you're there, you're muted.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. We had a package show up at the door.
No, you're good.
Oh my god. Sorry. I am so sorry.
No worries, bud. I sent you the
Oh my-
package.
Right. Oh my god. Yeah, the platinum game thing.
Yeah.
This is going to be a very interesting outcome for Microsoft. I've been reading a lot about this. I mean, we've been seeing stuff go back all the way back to, I think it was like February or March, that Platinum Games reached out to Microsoft, or at least made it known to Microsoft that they wanted to finish Scalebound. And now it's really interesting. We're starting to see these rumors about Platinum Games approaching Microsoft to help them publish their next game. Yeah, God, I mean, like, I'm very curious. Are they really just trying to like bury the hatchet and say sorry? Because, you know, I'm just going to be blunt. They took Xbox's money and they completely did other things with it, and they left Scalebound in a very horrible situation. This is one of the reasons why Microsoft's approach to hands off on game development with their developers is always criticized, because of Scalebound and the hype that surrounded Scalebound. And in my mind, at least, this is only in my opinion, at least if by some chance Platinum Games is not trying to create something completely new, because there's all these different things floating around the internet about them wanting to work on this game and that game, and they wanting their next game wanting to be a live service game. If by some chance one of these projects is Scalebound, the only thing that I can think of in my head is that somewhere in Platinum Games, somebody went behind the scenes and worked on Scalebound without pretty much Microsoft's permission, and somebody went over to Microsoft and was like, hey, we had so-and-so start working on it a little bit, and we feel that with today's technology, with the NVMe drives and the velocity architecture, that we really feel that we can get this game off of the ground. We all remember, I think it was even Phil Spencer's comments talking about how when he went to go to Platinum Games and he saw the state that the game was in, and that it was actually a very big buggy mess, and it was not up to the quality standards that he wanted. And we all know at the time that Phil Spencer had just started taking over the Xbox the Xbox brand. And I don't even think he was fully integrated as the guy. I think he still had to answer to a few people. And because of the lack of money and resources that were at least available to them, we all know he canceled Scalebound. I'm really very looking forward to, by some chance, if this IP is getting resurrected, or at the very least, Platinum Games is able to basically kind of heal a little bit of a bruised, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, partnership.
Ego or
Well, I want to say more like a bruised partnership. I mean, like, imagine handing somebody, you know, even like, let's just talk about the average person. Imagine handing a friend $500 with them and be like, hey, with this $500, I need you to do, X, X, Y, and Z. And you find out they're over here doing H, F, G, L, just completely doing not what you expected them to do with the money. And when you go talk to them, it's like, well, we don't have any more money, and this is all I got. And that's where, I mean, it really looks bad on a business level that you said that you could create a product and you went off and worked on other products and did have not much to show for that. So there's a lot of criticism that I can at least send to Platinum Games, because, you know, at least in my industry, I wouldn't want to do that to one of the people I'm in partnership with. I wouldn't want to rub them the wrong way. And, you know, we're talking about a pretty big titan like Microsoft. So, hey, if they're really wanting to go down this road, the only thing I could really give them as some advice is like, hey, don't F this up this time. Otherwise, I don't really see you kind of, you know, being like a developer for, at least for Microsoft games in the long run, if you're going to mess up again. Invader?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I guess I muted myself by accident. Oops. But Platinum Games have they've had kind of an interesting track record over the past couple of years. I guess starting in so they canceled Scalebound, or Xbox did, in early like January 2017. But then they went to do games like Nier Automata and Astral Chain, which saw a lot of praise on for both games. Now that I think about it, a lot of people seem to like it. Even journalists seem to really like. It was getting a lot of different. They were both getting a lot of different awards. The Wonderful 101 Remastered, I think that did okay as well. However, Bayonetta 3 kept getting delayed, and nobody heard about it up until recently. It's supposed to come out in October. And Babylon's Fall came out earlier this year, and yeah, it's been having a pretty rocky it's rocky to say the least, right? Like it's
Babylon's Fall is one of those games that you could say has basically made Platinum Games a little bit more. God, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm at a loss for words today.
grounded.
Humbled. They it's actually humbled them. There's
Yeah.
the word. It's humbled them for sure.
I blame Square.
You blame Square.
I blame. Well, all right. Look, Square managed to put out within like 16 months both Babylon's Fall. You know, they published that, and they released a Balan Wonderworld. So like,
yeah.
You know, you look at what Square Enix has done, and outside of Final Fantasy in the last 2 years, it's been pretty not great, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And maybe Guardians of the Galaxy, of course. I blame Square for Babylon's Fall, because the original, what Babylon's Fall originally looked like from like the first trailers before it became a live service, it looked decent, right? Wasn't a game for me necessarily, but it looked good, you know? And then they announced it was a live service game, and it just, everyone's hype fell off a cliff, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody's playing it right now. Maybe like it was pretty bad. Like I saw some of the screenshots for what was it, Steam activity alone, and it was
right now.
Yeah, please do. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad a few weeks ago, from what I understand. But I don't know, guys. I mean, I wonder if Xbox would go to them and be like, "Hey, you know what? You know, we would love to work with you again, but you know, we worked with you on Scalebound, and I don't know if we trust you enough. Like, I don't know. Do you think that they'd make a little bit of a grander offer to them and be like, "Hey, you finished Scalebound, and you know, we'll give you the money, but you got to finish Scalebound and." You know, we get first dibs and you know, the rights to your new IP. So, you see, I bring up Scalebound so much because, I mean, I don't like beating a dead horse, but at the same time, I just thought it was cool. I thought it was a cool concept, not so much because I really like Platinum Games. I mean, they did make some pretty cool games, don't get me wrong. Like, I really, really love Vanquish, and when they put their minds to it, they make some really entertaining games. But it just, Scalebound, it really caught my eye. It was rough around the edges for sure, especially the frame rate. But it just, I don't know, there's just something about it that I thought was cool. Like, MLD, buddy, what do you think about this rumor being brought to us? I mean, it does seem to have some teeth to it, judging by the person who's supplying it. I don't know, do you think Xbox would, like Microsoft Game Studios, want to work with Platinum again? Or, like, I don't know, do you think they turn them down? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I got mixed feelings on this. Like, I mean, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes. They clearly see, like, you know, with all the acquisitions, that the Xbox, they're getting the full financial might of Microsoft backing them, and their investment in gaming is like unprecedented. So I think they want a piece of that action. Like Xbox publishing, I'm sure is going to be more busy than they ever were. So I don't blame them for wanting a crack at that. But then again, I'm thinking of like, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Like, I feel like they gotta put them on a tighter leash. If anything, they need like I mean, they got a hands-off approach usually, but with these guys, I think you need a hands-on approach. You really gotta look at the books and see what they're doing and get frequent progress updates if they would say yes to it. Because I don't know, my gut's telling me say no, don't do it. They'll burn you again. But part of me is also saying Xbox, they're selling more in Japan than they ever were. I think certainly more than Xbox One. They need all the Japanese content they can get, especially if it's exclusive. So I think for that, maybe just swallow your pride. If you got burned, I know, but maybe swallow your pride this one time and just keep the eyes on the prize. If you want to grow in Japan, you need the content. And Platinum Games, like, they're literally putting themselves on a silver platter, like, ready for you, like, giving themselves to you to use. Like, maybe just in that regard, just do it. Go ahead with it. Again, just draw up a specific contract, put them on a tighter leash, make sure you're gonna get what you paid for. So, excuse me. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think just do that. Say yes. Be very careful, be very cautious, but if you want to grow the Xbox brand, especially in Japan and Asia in general, you got to do it. If these guys are a potential partner, just do it and figure it out from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I remember a couple of months ago, like I was saying earlier, you had some of the like more notable personnel from Platinum Games saying, "Oh, please work with us again, Phil. Please work with us at Xbox." Like it was almost like they were courting them already, and now, yeah.
I was gonna say
The
Platinum
fact,
Games is like that
Sure.
ex-boyfriend showing up at your house with flowers and candy and everything,
Oh my
trying
God,
to get back.
Yeah, the way I see this is, look, Microsoft's in the Game Pass business right now, right? With Xbox, I think that's fair to say, right? They're not necessarily like Game Pass is their core focus. It is their biggest absolute focus, right? Like everything else, like is like a channel to either receive Game Pass or to feed into Game Pass, right? And the way I see it is they need more Japanese developers on board. They need more developers in general on board. So if they can get Platinum Games on board, it's been 5 years since Scalebound was canceled, right? In corporate years, that's an eternity. You know, that no company holds grudges against another company for that long. Let's just move on. We're gonna make money together. Let's try and make money together again. And Platinum Games, I don't know if you guys saw this. It was about 4 days ago. They announced a bunch of expansion stuff.
Yes. And in fact, they got didn't they hire someone on that was from Nintendo as well?
They did. They hired a former Nintendo executive. I'm gonna scroll through the list of stuff. They announced that they have a new in-house IP that they are self-publishing. They announced that they are going to be moving up to. They want to have more than 1,000 employees employed across their studios over the next few years, and that includes opening new studios. To put that in perspective, they currently have about 300 employees. So they want to more than double, like, or more than triple their size, right? They want to go from 300 to over 1,000. They are working on multiple unannounced games for other publishers currently that are in multiple stages of development. Some are small, some are large, and those are current projects. So like they are working with other publishers that are unannounced. So like this does line up. They hired they hired a former Nintendo executive to be head of their publishing division because they also want to publish I would probably guess AA and indie games as well as their own games. And they have their one game is Project GG and it's going to be self-published. Tencent investment is helping them scale up. Yeah. So would they have pitched something to Microsoft? Absolutely. I think they're probably pitching to everyone right now, right? And I think based on, let's look at what the community has been demanding from Microsoft, right? We've been demanding more family-friendly games like Banjo-Kazooie, more Japanese games, right? Because there has been, and it's been getting a lot better with like Persona coming and stuff. There's been a distinct lack of Japanese games on Xbox in recent years. and there's one other big category that the third-person action adventure style, and this kind of gets those last two things because, to an extent, you would expect Platinum Games to probably be making some kind of like third-person actiony game. You know, like that's basically what they're known for. The different genres of it, like hack and slash to JRPG to just straight action adventure. But you know, like you expect that third person style, so you can kind of get two birds with one stone there. So I think it's so far removed from the Scalebound era. You know, we bring it up all the time because it's stupid and dumb that it happened. But
yeah,
I think that that we're so far removed from that. They want to work together again. Of course, like MLD said, you just have a stricter contract this time, and I think that's a no-brainer. And you get something done. I think it's a no-brainer for everyone involved to have a deal like this again with more oversight than last, because you know if Phil doesn't have more oversight this time, then that's just bad decision making, you know. But working with them again, I would say, is not a bad decision. I'd say it's a very good one. Just be safe about it, not dumb.
And I agree. I do agree with your perspective on that. One thing that I would add to that as well is that, you know, Xbox has had a rocky relationship with a whole bunch of developers. I mean, again, they're not the only publisher too. They all have their own stories, right, with other developers. Xbox, especially over the last, maybe 2 generations, they burnt a lot of bridges. I remember Obsidian was one of them. They had canceled a game that was pretty far along. Obsidian didn't like dealing with Microsoft for a while. And you know what? They patched things up. And there's been a few developers like that as well that have came back to Xbox into the fold. I think even Double Fine as well. I think they had issues with Microsoft because originally with Psychonauts, right?
Because they canceled this game. Well, basically, they said, "Hey, find a new publisher for what was it?
Psychonauts."
Yeah, the first one, and then Majestico picked it up. So that's a good one. That's a good one right there.
It's business. There's no feelings in business, just money.
And that's what it is, honestly. And that's what I'm trying to say is that, you know, as much as, I mean, okay, yes, the Platinum Games thing and Scalebound, it was a big one, no doubt, and probably one of the larger ones out of all of them that, you know, I mean, happened in recent years. But at the same time, again, they seem to be mending relationships as time goes by. Time heals all wounds, even in business. And like you said, business is business, right? Eventually, you know, there's going to be a circumstance where, you know, either it forces them, you know, like there are situations where, yeah, they can coalesce back together to work on it, especially if the money is there, right? So.
Well, yeah, who knows how many games have been canceled behind the scenes that were never announced? Like, who knows how many, like, pitches that have happened and have gone by the wayside? You know, we don't know. This just so happened to be one that was further in development, and you know, Platinum screwed up, Microsoft screwed up. You know, it is what it is. We see games collapse all the time, you know. That Prince of Persia game from Ubisoft looks like it's never gonna freaking come out.
Right? Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well,
stuff collapses all the time. It's not. They just got to pick up, move on, make some changes to their deals, make some changes within Platinum, which seem to have happened. And just do good business together again.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised if this turned into an acquisition down the line, to be honest with you. I know I'm kind of grasping at things right now, but knowing how Xbox Game Studios and Microsoft has been and what they've been looking for to try to attract, like you were talking about, Crusader, it's just, I don't know, there's a lot of things that kind of coalesce here that I wouldn't be surprised. And I mean, Platinum just keeps coming up in relationship to Microsoft with all kinds of different news. So, yeah, interesting situation regardless. like Eric, but I know you chimed in a bit there. But I mean, overall, what are your thoughts on like this whole situation with this platinum rumor? Like, I don't know, could you see like again platinum? I mean, we know that studios go to publishers all the time about games and whatnot. But do you think that again they go to Microsoft and be like, hey, you want to fund our next game?
Yeah, I mean, I think as people have pointed out on the panel here, you see Microsoft handing out all this cash to all these other small, mid-sized, big, AAA developers. So they're, if they're looking for, and I'm sure they are, they're looking for funding for their projects. The one with the most money and the one that's throwing out a lot of it, probably the most frequently throwing it out too, is Microsoft, who they did have a rocky relationship with, but I mean, I think they also took a lot of onus on themselves because at the time they were doing a lot of projects, and yeah, Near Automata turned out great, but Scalebound got canceled, and many people, I remember watching the Giant Bomb E3, the last E3 right before it got canceled. They're like, yeah, I don't think this looks really good because it was super choppy. And that was supposed to come out like a few months later at the beginning of the year. And then you had, I think they're working on that TMNT game, which I was hyped for. I never actually went back and played it because the reviews looked pretty bad. So I was like, well, I'm not going to put $50 on it. Maybe I'll wait down the line. So maybe I'll go and check it out one day. But I know that definitely got some pretty poor reviews. So I'm not sure how well it turned out. But, as far as out of those three, they nailed it with one. Got pretty poor showing, at least from the critics on one of the games, and then the other one's canceled. So that's not a great track record. So obviously it wasn't, there's probably more leaning on the Platinum side than it was on the Microsoft side, because I'm sure they were funding, and you could see it from like how grand they were going for it. Maybe that was just too big of a ambition to take on, but I mean, I'm pretty sure they're probably getting quite a bit of funding to, make that game run. I think it was running on Unreal at the time. I'm pretty sure Microsoft was handing out quite a bit of, money to get it finished. Heck, at that time they were, paying decent high-level actors to make a TV show for, Quantum Break. So I'm pretty sure they weren't shying away from, because that deal would have been signed early on before like Satya came in. So I'm sure they were handing out, pretty good checks at least. That was their line of business back then, paying off third parties for exclusive versus investing in their own first party. But, I'm sure, like we pointed out before, that it's been quite a long time. So, and it seems like from what they've said in the public, they're like, hey, we definitely want to, work with you guys again. So, and a lot of it wasn't probably back then under Phil's like decision entirely, because he was under the Windows division. So I'm sure they were probably, hamstrung on how much they could, how much of their budget they could, like, hey, you have this amount, here's what you can choose to do with it. And at that time it was like, do we keep sinking money into this? And because lately it's been not looking good, so if they're not getting results there, they got to make a decision. Whether that was the right one to make, we'll never know. But I mean, it's hard to say when you're not fully in charge, when he's like the head of Xbox, but he's also answering to Meyerson, not Satya at that time. So had it been, a game that was supposed to come out maybe 2018, maybe it would have lived on, because, they would have been a little bit more in control. And, we saw what happened as soon as he got that promotion in 2017. He went on like a freaking, cash, spending spree, buying up multiple devs, and just doing their fastest first party investment they've ever done. Taking Obsidian, Ninja Theory. It was like, okay, this is this is definitely unheard of. We've never seen this in gaming where someone just like, okay, I'm just buying up all these publishers to make them first party. So like why they didn't do that during the 360 gen, we'll never know. But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking there's probably some, mutual respect, mutual, admiration of, their talents. Hideki Kamiya is, he did Resident Evil 2. He's made other, great games with the Nier series. So there's definitely a lot of talent there. So if they can amend and make a deal, it'll be cool to see what comes from it. So.
Agreed. I would not be surprised if this has broader implications down the line. But again, we don't know. This is just speculation on our part. I would like to see something come to fruition here, but time will tell. Anybody else have anything to add to this before we close things off? All right.
I got one brief thing to mention right before we close things off.
Of course.
Just so everyone's aware, pay attention to Jeff Grubb's podcast tomorrow. He just nonchalantly on a Sunday morning just flat out said he's going to be talking about a Black Panther video game tomorrow. No idea who's making it. I think it's Amy Hennig's studio at Skydance, because we know she has a Marvel game in development. But he said he's going to be talking about it tomorrow at 11 a.m. EST. So be ready for some news on that from Mr. Grubster.
Well, that would be a giant, good timing, right? Considering didn't they announce a whole bunch of new movies and TV shows upcoming in the next 2 years?
Yeah, they announced most of Phase 5 and a few pieces of Phase 6 for the MCU, and the first trailer for Black Panther 2: Wakanda Forever came out and looked awesome. I don't know if anyone else on the panel saw the Marvel news.
I did.
So who's in that? Is it just like following his like sister, or?
It's basically most of the cast of the first Black Panther movie are in it, but it's centered around he died. I guess they'll explain like in the universe he died. Because
I just don't understand why they
Boseman
didn't.
died.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just like recast him. They've done it multiple times, so it just doesn't.
Sure, I think it was because of how iconic he was as the character. Because like the characters that they've recast, arguably, like Rhodey was a minor character in Iron Man 1, and the Hulk movie was bad. So those recasts didn't matter. He was so big and everyone loved him. I feel that instead of quote recasting him, they're just making another person take up the mantle of Black Panther, which happens in the comics. Every character, every hero, there's another hero that takes up the
It's
mantle.
just
I
odd.
have to
We've
agree with
seen
that he has. I was just, sorry, Shock. I was just gonna say they
Oh, no,
have
you're
to
good.
pay. He was a great actor. Forgive me, his name eludes me. We all know I'm bad with
Boseman.
names.
Chadwick?
Yeah, Chadwick Boseman. He was a great actor. A very courageous actor for doing everything he did with the conditions that he had. And I just really feel that it almost is like it would be a disservice just to be like, oh, you're replaceable. I like the fact that they're using the Black Panther universe on the fact that the Black Panther is a mantle that gets passed on to other people, part of their world, and that's where I got excited in hearing that they're not just recasting him.
Yeah, I agree with Centurion there. Because I mean they're like there's gonna be a scene that's gonna make me bawl like a child in theater, because we know there's gonna be a funeral procession in it, and Lord knows I'm gonna bawl like a child when I see it.
I guess the best way to relate it is, like we're all at our jobs, and like we've all heard it at one employer or another, you're replaceable. At least Chadwick Boseman is not being represented as, oh, he was replaceable. That's where, at least that's where my mind goes to it.
Yeah, and it's not like they had like a contractual dispute or a falling out. Like he passed away. Like he would have been Black Panther forever. Just like we're gonna have Charlie Cox is gonna be Daredevil forever. He's in like 8 things now as Daredevil.
I just think it makes it kind of like you probably would have had a better movie had you actually kept the character.
Maybe. I mean, we'll end up that could be the case. We'll end up
Because
seeing
I don't know
when it
who's
comes
carrying
out.
that movie. Because I probably won't see it at this point.
I- I'm excited for Namor, because Namor's the villain of it, the king of Atlantis in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
So
I'm just thinking of like
I've
on
wanted
who's
him for
our
forever.
protagonist, who's actually going to be able to carry that movie, like Chadwick.
I think it's gonna be I don't know the actor's name, but he plays M'Baku. The
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
I
in
think
Us,
it's either gonna end up being him or Shuri, taking up the mantle. I'm not sure which.
See, I think a lot of people are gonna wait for Disney Plus for that. Like if you don't have a face, like, or like someone that
I think we'll
really
know
can
more
carry it
by the time the second trailer comes out. That movie's not coming out till November. Right?
Yeah.
The only reason we got a trailer now was it was San Diego Comic-Con.
Perfect casting if they got him to do it. John David Washington. Like people even were putting him like his face like on and having like the same facial hair and everything. Like he looks pretty close to Chadwick. And he's a great actor, so it's like he could then carry it, so we could actually watch the Black Panther character, because that's what we go to see, is like that character, not like, hey, it's like watching Captain America, like with Chris Evans, and then you were like, cool, we'll watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, but we'll watch that on Disney Plus. Like probably no one's seeing just a movie with those two characters and not Captain America. So even though they kind of say, hey, Captain America's like transferring to somebody else, it's like, but not really.
I mean, personally, I'm just kind of marveled out at this point. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. Like, it's cool if you like that. I'm not saying you can't enjoy. I'm just like, me personally, I'm just kind of, I don't know. Like the content.
I think it kind of feels like it's getting lower budget. Not that it's literally lower budget, but it just feels like we're not to that premium like tier level that we were. Just like
I just feel like they're putting out so much stuff now that the quality is going down. Personally, and even with the Star Wars stuff too, and they're just announcing like stuff after stuff after stuff, and I don't know. To me, like, they should just focus on a couple of things, like, and that's that. But I mean, then again, what do I know? But that's just how I feel overall, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I think thanks for also bringing that up, Crusader. Good chat there. But yeah, I think we've covered just about everything that we can for the night. Good job from everyone on the panel, as we covered As Dusk Falls, a few other games, of course, Discord chat coming to Xbox, Platinum Game Rumors, and some other stuff intertwined in there. And to all of our listeners, it was awesome, as always, having you tuning in. And if you enjoyed our chat tonight, then hey, please consider dropping a like, subbing to the channel, and leaving a comment after the show, as we do enjoy your feedback, whatever it may be. With that said, let's go over to the outros, starting off with Centurion. Buddy, hey, you had some really cool insights tonight. Where can all these fine people follow you at?
Thanks everybody for being here, everyone in the chat. Also, thank you, gentlemen. It was another great Sunday night conversation for Xbox and gaming in general. For those interested in finding me, you can locate me at Centurion1307 on YouTube, Twitter, and Xbox Live. You can also find me here every Sunday night on the TXR Podcast with this amazing group of gentlemen that put up with me. And you can also find me over on Gaming Beyond the Box with the one and only Mr. Wilmy Hood and his great crew over there. And yes, it is only a couple weeks now before we will be able to announce when that is returning.
Good stuff. Again, looking forward to that. Great crew there. Moving on over. Eric Shockley, my friend. Hey, I thought you had some really good points tonight as well. But then again, you usually always have an awesome show, no doubt. Yeah, where can everybody follow you at?
Yeah, as always, you can find me at Shock Nero on Twitter, EZShock on Xbox Live and Discord. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. Good show tonight. Later.
Well said, short and sweet. Moving on here, GeneralMLD pal. Again, hey, you had some wonderful thoughts, highlights, commentary. I mean, where to begin? You really good show, really good show. Where can everybody follow you, pal?
Thank you, thank you. You guys can find me on Twitter at MLDGhost. Gamertag is GhostMLD. You can always message me, catch me playing this and that. But yeah, great show, guys, and looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, of course. And who else do we got here? Oh yeah, Crusader, buddy. Hey, again, I thought you had some really good stuff, like the other gentleman on the panel. Yeah, great commentary. Where can all these wonderful people that tuned in, where can they find you at?
Yeah, you can find me at Crusader3456 on basically every platform where gaming and gaming discussions happen. I think the only place where I'm not Crusader3456 is Steam, where I'm Crusader Lord of the Realm. If anyone in chat can tell me what that's a reference to, I am your best friend. And yeah, gonna have some good stuff coming up probably later in August for gonna have some mega threads for some cool stuff. So it's a little tease.
Ooh, well, we certainly love your teases. You put a lot of effort into those threads.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. Yeah, guys, you got to follow this guy. He puts a lot of effort into those threads. Collects a lot of good info. You know, kind of shrinks things down for everybody. So definitely give him a follow. And all right, just to close off the group, you all can find my content on YouTube at Invader Gaming. Also, check me out on Twitter at Invader_1986. I really enjoyed all the thoughts and commentary tonight, and I'm already looking forward to the next one next Sunday night. Have a fantastic night, everyone. See you later.